Darren Dreger. Good to see you on a Tuesday. We didn't get to yesterday. I know you had a big Super Bowl thing going on Sunday. How was the party, and what'd you think of the game?
The party was fine. I mean, I think it was like 4 or 5 of us up at a buddy's cottage in Muskoka. I'm the youngest at 57. So what do we think of the game? Yeah, well, no, that's my point. We got there Friday night and left Monday morning. And I think the latest night was 11:30 p.m., including Super Bowl Sunday. So I came within a point in winning the overall pool. One of those pools where you throw in your $20 and there's like 15 questions. Who's the first group of cheerleaders they show? Who's the first coach they show? All of the nonsense. What's the halftime score? Who turns the ball over first? All of that kind of stuff. I lost the overall pool by 1 point. The tiebreaker was total score. And I think I had 27-10, and the guy that won had 1 point higher than I did, so he won the pool. So that for me was the most exciting part of Super Bowl Sunday, was almost winning the pool.
What, was this like a potluck? Did you bring your famous 27-layer dip, or how did that go? What was the spread? Food arrangements?
Well, I did, yes, a friend, Steve, did bring a dip, and it was terrific. It was like this cheesy taco thing, and it had chicken in it and jalapenos mixed in. No, I am not going to. Here's a humble brag for you fellas. I spent hours and hours and hours doing a slow-cooked pulled beef on Thursday to take to the cottage, and 12 out of 10. This thing was outrageously good. Outrageously good. So, yeah, for 4 or 5 guys to consume the amount of groceries we did in a row. And what topped it off, we're really soft here in Ontario. It was like minus 22, and we couldn't go for our walk in the lake and all that because that's too damn cold. We're not going out there when it's minus 22. So just had like 4 beached whales watching the Olympics pretty much all weekend long. That's what we did.
Man, you know what? As a Western Canadian guy, Dregs, you got soft, eh? You got soft. The minus 22 would not have stopped you out here, right? That's a tough look. It is. Right. So Canada, U.S. women's hockey today, first round action at the Olympics, and just diving into this game a little bit. What were the numbers I had earlier? Like when they played the rivalry series, the U.S. swept them and outscored them 24-7. Canada ends up dealing with his injury yesterday to Marie-Philippe Poulin, which is not good. And it's just it's so weird for me to get ready for a Canadian women's hockey game for a team that's a clear underdog going into this thing, which is it's so strange, but it's the truth. That's how they're viewed. It is. Into this.
No, it is the truth. And I got thinking about this yesterday. We were talking as we were driving back from the cottage, and trying to formulate some solid information as to when the Americans sort of took over. And I mean, that rivalry has always been intense. And with all due respect to, the other hockey nations on the women's side of things, it normally does come down to the Americans and Canada, doesn't it? And it doesn't matter what the international event is. I'm not prepared to call them the underdog just because I'm not covering the Olympics, other than happily having conversations with you guys about it. So I got the red and white waving here. I'm on full cheerleader mode for both the men's and women's teams, but I'm not gonna lie, as I watched Marie-Philippe Poulin come back to the bench, and okay, well, that's a real good sign. And then for her not to be able to finish, and we're kind of guessing at what the outcome might be, that is an incredible blow. It is an incredible blow to the country, because we know how decorated Marie-Philippe Poulin is, and how great a leader she's been for the Canadian women. But if they're underdogs, that's fine by me. I still like their chances. I do.
I said to the boys, I got more concerned when she came back and just sat on the bench, because it was a vibe of, I'm not going to dress anymore, so I want to be
I'm cheerleading here.
And I was just like, oh no.
Yeah.
That's even worse.
That's what I saw too.
Yeah, so that game will be just after noon Edmonton time today, and obviously we'll be talking about that a lot the rest of the way through. Did you see the Team Canada photo where Sidney Crosby looks like a chaperone of the team on the trip? Did you see that thing yesterday?
Yes, I did. Yeah. I got to tell you, you guys are younger than me. We've established this in this segment today. I, as an old geezer, I'm fooled on an hour by hour basis by what's going on social media. I don't know what's AI. Yeah. I don't know what isn't. And, I don't know if you've seen it, but I sent it to Rashog, and I know it's AI, but there's a picture of Matthew and Brady Tkachuk, and it looks like they're in a swimsuit, like a woman's swimsuit in a show, like a picture beside each other and representing Team USA. I mean, where are we going with all of this stuff? So I did see the picture, but I looked at it and went, well, that's a bit odd. And then I just kind of went on to the next thing. I mean, Canada's got a lot of stuff going on. Like John Cooper closing practices because the rink is too small. And I'm not going to lie, I thought that Rashog and Mark Masters and Pierre LeBrun did a nice job in kind of flicking Team Canada in the nose over closing the practice on Monday. But I sent him a text this morning, and I'm like, I don't know, man. This is much ado about nothing. Here I am. And I know because I've covered the Olympics, I've covered international hockey a lot. And, when certain players aren't available, you take it personally because you're over there to cover the event. And that's all the Mother Network wants is the content coming back. And so there you have a closed Canadian practice. So I got why those guys by the collective media was annoyed. But I'm like, nah. From my position on the couch, it didn't seem to be that big of a deal. So I think we're all eager, though, for the games to get going, are we not, on the men's side? Yeah. Just so we're not analyzing pictures and closed practices and all of that.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a line combination question for you, and I'd rather be breaking down a game.
Well, if I may, I mean, goaltending, this might be elementary to you, might be elementary to most, but we saw what Jordan Binnington did in Four Nations, but we've seen his numbers this season. Where do you think that goes, or where do you think that should go in terms of who gets the start?
Well, I mean, John Cooper is a creature of habit, as most coaches are. And when they feel in their heart that this player, in this case a goalie, just has that X factor, right? That winning DNA, then that's the direction that he's going to go. Now, you can say that about Logan Thompson. You can say it about Darcy Kemper if we're talking specifically about the goalies. But I remember Cooper talking about Binnington throughout the Four Nations, right? And then, when the decision was made that that's the guy they're going with to win gold, I don't think that their mindset has changed. Now, would I be shocked if it's Thompson starting for Canada? No, I wouldn't be shocked. But nor would I be even a little bit surprised if they decide, no, it's Binnington's net to lose. Because, look, why did they add Seth Jarvis here, fellas?
Exactly what I said. I mean, they're loyal to that team that won, right? Like
100%. And we know that he's a skilled winger. We know what we can see. The eye test matters based on the offense that Seth Jarvis creates for the Carolina Hurricanes. But right at the top of the list he was part of that group, right? And he's a likable kid, and everyone is very familiar with him. So, if you're going to apply that logic when you're making an injury replacement, don't you automatically do the same thing when you're starting game one of the Olympics with a goaltender who's won? So, short leash for Binnington, but I'd be a little bit surprised if he doesn't get the net.
And it's going to be a lot different for Binnington playing behind Team Canada than the St. Louis Blues. It's night and day. It could have two more opposite situations. So there's that. This text came in a little bit earlier, and just when it comes to McDavid, from what we've seen being on the line with Tom Wilson and Celebrini, listener Dusty texted and he goes, "Could you imagine if McDavid recruits Tom Wilson?" Like that's the dream. That's what's going to happen here. Tom Wilson's going to ride shotgun with McDavid. Look great, and we're all going to be going. I wonder if Connor said you should come play with me in Edmonton. That's what we're opening the door for here, Drex.
I get it. It's like every team that comes through Edmonton, and every team has unrestricted free agents pending. Well, that player would look good with the Oilers. Of course, there's 10 Bobby McMahons that the Oilers should have by now. So that's 100% what's happening here is Tom Wilson is going to be a good fit on that line. I would expect. John Cooper described Tom Wilson as one of the best F1s in the sport, right? I mean, force forward in, he is going to attack. That's what he's going to do on the forecheck. Well, Edmonton Oilers fans are very familiar with that style of play because they get that from Zach Hyman on the wing with Connor McDavid. So I think we were all a little bit surprised, certainly intrigued by the line combinations. I'm fine with Celebrini and McDavid together, and I am intrigued by Tom Wilson on that wing and what he's going to be able to do. I think if I was going to apply a higher level of surprise, Sidney Crosby is your third line center.
Yeah.
I mean, that to me is surprising. I thought Crosby and McKinnon would be together, and I wouldn't have been surprised to see Celebrini on that line, but the coaches have chewed on this thing to a point of, all right, we've had a practice. I think today's an off day, by the way. So, they'll get going in the game against Czechia. But I'm sure everyone, including us in media who are paid to talk about it, are growing weary of all the overanalyzing that's happening.
We dove into it a little bit yesterday with Button on, like, Connor McDavid scores the goal at the Four Nations, not that long ago to win that. Yeah. I remember going through that game, sitting there in Boston watching. I was like, man, Connor's got to do something. He's kind of been quiet. And then boom, he goes and wins. It's like when Crosby in 2010, you're like, he's kind of had a so-so tournament. And then he goes and scores the golden goal. But, so McDavid was good at the Four Nations. But, in this spotlight, do you think there's a chance that Connor sort of takes this thing over for Team Canada?
It's possible because he's the best player on the planet. So I maybe sounded like I hesitated. I hesitate only because we do have to pay respect to all the teams that they're going to face, right? Czechia is not as good as Canada. We know that. But are they going to get walked over? Or the Finns? Are they going to get? No, come on. I mean, these nations prepare. Of course they prepare. So as good as Connor is, the true matchup will come against the Americans, right? Do I think that there is going to be opportunities where he takes the game over by a simple play, that rocket burst of speed, all of those things? Yes. I mean, that's possible. To take over the event, I mean, maybe if we really, again, dissect it and you look at the end of the Olympics and Canada has won the gold medal and you're looking at, him being the most productive player on the Olympic stage, well, does that qualify as taking over? Probably. I mean, what else is left? What other standard are we applying? I have too much respect for how good the other teams are, the level of goaltending, the defensive structure that all management groups applied in building their rosters. So he's going to have his moments, but I think it's a stretch to think he'll take it over.
Dregs, as always, man, we appreciate the time. Enjoy these first couple of games, and we'll talk about it next Monday.
You bet. Okay, guys, thank you.
There you go. That's Darren Dreger.